Hey, everybody. Welcome back to Thinking and Being. Are you living a distracted life? Are you not able to focus? Are you dealing with things around you that have nothing really to do with you? Are you falling into the trap of material things and screens that take up your entire day or your entire week or most of your life? Are you doing what you're meant to do here on earth? Are you living in alignment with your goals and values? Or are you just distracted by all the things around you? Today, I want to talk about how you might be distracted. Ask the question, are you living a distracted life? And then talk about some tips about how to not be distracted. So let's get into it. One of the things that I'm looking into is how to do these videos. And so I could look at a screen, I could have notes on a piece of paper. I could have sticky notes, like a sea of sticky notes, like you see here. And every time I'm done talking about something, I just throw it behind my head. So, doesn't matter. We can try any method. We're just going to try this method today. And if it doesn't work, we'll do a different method next time. No big deal. No big whoop.
No big whoop, just coffee talk.
But okay, so let's talk about distraction in life. And distraction in life comes in many forms. Are you living a distracted life where you're distracted by screens, social media, shopping, stupid errands that you're going on? Or are you living a purposeful, authentic life? I think I covered that one.
Alrighty then.
How much of your life revolves around your phone and just staring at social media or ordering things and shopping? It's that time of year where it's the holidays and people are ordering things and shopping for things and doing all kinds of errands and getting very distracted. And sometimes I worry that holidays are just a way of keeping humans distracted from being themselves. So they do all these crazy things and decorate and wear silly outfits and do all these crazy rituals that keep us distracted from being ourselves. But I hope at the end of this video that maybe you're aware of some of these things that may take you away from being yourself, and that may actually, importantly, may actually cause you stress in your life. Hold on, I gotta sneeze. Hold up. That just happened. Anyway, how much of your life revolves around material things like cars and houses and like a nice watch? A lot of these things are things you're not going to care about on your deathbed. You're going to get to that time in your life and you're going to be like, wow, man, it was so important that I ran 6 errands that day. Or man, it was really important that I replied to that social media comment. When you're on your deathbed, you're not going to be thinking about all the errands that you did on December 18th, 2024. You're not going to be thinking about, man, I should have just got one more thing on the to-do list that day. That was so important. You're not going to be thinking about that comment you made on somebody's social media post and how important that was. You're not going to be thinking about how many likes you had in a given month on your Instagram. You're going to be thinking about the important things. And so why wait till then, to the end of your life, to think about those important things? Why use distraction to delay the happiness and authenticity in your life? Hopefully, some of the things here will kind of clue you in on maybe how you're being distracted as we go along in this video. Whee! So, unfortunately, for a lot of you, distraction is a key method of avoiding the quietude in your life. And so what you do most often is you fill it with crap. You fill it with errands, you fill it with tasks that you have to do, multitasking, just generally scrolling on your phone, death scrolling, doom scrolling. I do it all the time. I do it pretty often, way more often than I should. And I need to fix that. Thus, I'd like to talk about this with all of you.
I know it's easy for your mind to wander.
Yeah, so we need to be able to make time for ourselves and live with ourselves. And I think that's really important. You have to be able to be still and understand who you are, why you are, how you are, and distractions take time and effort away from that, which can be detrimental over time. So, are you able to be alone? Ask yourself, are you able to be alone? How much time do I spend during a given day to be alone and sitting with my thoughts? And how often do you think about what makes you you? What makes you authentic? I heard a quote on another YouTube video where they talked about the universe favors those who are authentic, authentically yourself. And these are the thoughts that you're going to have on your deathbed. You're going to be thinking about, man, was I authentically me? And while that takes time to develop, it takes effort to understand. And it takes maybe some time every day or every week to be alone and to understand who you are, how you are, what you are, why you are the way you are. And uh, I'm betting that most of you that are watching this video are probably not making that time and dedicating that time to think about all of that and to be alone, which is very important. Got that one. But real quick, if you think about the Spanish word for fun, fun is great. So the Spanish word for fun is divertido. And the root word there in English is diversion, right? Distraction. Fun is distracting, right? It's okay to have fun for sure. Yeah, but you should be deliberate about your fun and you should plan your fun. And fun isn't always a distraction. A lot of what you all do on a day-to-day basis is very distracting and very stressful, but it's not fun. And so making sure that your distractions are fun can help you uh, in your daily life lower stress, be more purposeful, be more authentic, and take a break and be more resilient the next time you encounter something that's actually stressful that you're not creating. If you think about the the buildup of distraction in your life, we can be distracted and pursue things like cars and houses and wealth. But the funny thing about, as we know, most of you already know, psychologically, as humans, more is never enough. So it's the hunt of getting more that makes it interesting. It's the hunt of getting more wealth or a bigger house or a better job, or that's the thing that's interesting. But once you get there, after some time, that satisfaction wears down, it wears off, and then you want the next best thing, and the next best thing, and the next best thing. So what we have to understand is that distraction, this type of distraction, material distraction, is is created by you, but it also can keep you from living your authentic life. There's a quote that I saw today which goes, "The foolish man seeks happiness in the distance. The wise man grows it under his feet." So that resonates with me, given that phenomena of really appealing to the hunt of having more distraction, or having more wealth, or having more of XYZ material things. That's a trap that humans often get in, and they spend much of their life, if not most of their life, in that distraction reinforcing loop of happiness is over there, it's not right here. Happiness is over there, it's not right here. Happiness is in the future, it's not now. So, whether in space or in time, happiness is never with you where you are right now. But happiness can be with you right now if you let it. It can be very much with you right now, and it can be with you often, every day. That was done. One of the things that we're going to talk about a lot, it's going to be a theme in this channel going forward for the next 70 years that I make this channel.
Alrighty then.
I'm not lying, I'm going to live forever. Um, is something called systems thinking. And one of the principles of systems thinking, and this is from a book called The Fifth Discipline by Peter Senge. He talks about how system thinking is realizing that we may be the cause of our own problems. I want to give a couple quotes from that book. We often blame external factors for our problems, failing to see that we and the causes of our problems are part of the same system. He also says we must shift from viewing ourselves as separate from the systems we seek to change to understanding our integral role within them. So, understanding that is very important, that things like distraction that might cause stress, that might keep you from being your authentic self, this is really caused by you. The things in your life you have to think about. How much of my day is me being authentically me versus me being distracted? And do I have the power to change that? And of course, the answer is yes. All these things in your life are a choice, including how you feel. And I talked about that in another video about anxiety, and I'll put that link below in the description. But how you act and how you feel and how you react to things in life is completely a choice. And likewise, how much you are distracted is a choice. So why not choose to live an authentic, happy life today instead of something in the distance? Or I'll deal with that when I'm on my deathbed and have a huge number of regrets. So something to think about. So let me tell you a story about a friend, and the friend's name doesn't matter. I have a friend that gets very distracted in their life.
I have a very short attention span.
But our point is very simple. You see, when...
Oh, look, a bird!
They'll have a scribbled on post-it note with 80 things that they want to accomplish that day. And of course, if you put anything more, we know just from experience, we know if you put more than 3 to 5 things on your to-do list for the day, even as in your work environment, it becomes very hard to do those things, and you're just setting yourself up for disappointment. But I know somebody who puts a million things in their planner, in their stickies that they carry around with them, and they're just scribbling it off, trying to get them all done. And I can understand that you are racing the clock and you want to be productive. I've been there. But in that life, as you make that choice and get into that reinforcing loop of distraction and you're doing all these errands, you're potentially causing more risk and more stress. For example, this person that I know that I'm telling a story about will order things online, or they'll go to the store and they'll get things, but they're not sure if they should get them. But they'll get them knowing that they might be returning it. So they'll not really decide if they want something at a store, and then they'll come back and return it, doubling the need for errands in the future. And then on those errands, they'll add other errands because they think they need to do other things. And this perpetual reinforcing cycle of errands and buying things and taking them back, and then buying things and taking them back, and is clearly a huge distraction in their life, and probably something where they don't want to deal with what's going on in their own life. But also, I would say, what if you got in an accident in your car on one of those trips, taking something back to the store for the 80th time? Was it worth it at the end of the day? Was it that person's fault that you got in an accident with on that day? Or was it your fault because you created a system where you had to be out and about running around like crazy and convincing yourself that if you didn't get 20 to 40 or 50 things done that day, that you weren't going to be as accomplished as you wanted to be? So you drove a little crazier and you got yourself into an accident. Now, I don't want to scare anyone from getting on the road, but probability wise, the more you're on the road, the more likely you are to get into an accident. But you can see the issue here. Distraction, a distracted life, can cause you to get into scenarios that you never wanted to be in the first place. So that's why it's so important to limit distraction and to be purposeful. So the key questions you have to ask yourself before we get into some remedies is, does this thing that I'm doing align with my central purpose? And if I'm having stress in my life, and maybe it has to do with distraction. Think about it. If I have stress in my life, added stress in my life, am I the one causing the stress in my life? I would submit that quite often it's you causing the stress in your life. Because remember, all these things are a choice. Whee! So let's get into some remedies on how to avoid distraction and start living a purposeful life. Because again, it's all about how much of my day is distraction versus how much of my day is me living authentically and doing something a little bit closer with the reason that I'm here. Not to burden you with like everything that you do has to align with the reason you're here. It does not, and that's the point of fun that I talked about before. But you have to ask yourself, is this unnecessary distraction that could cause unnecessary stress?
Hey, Homer! The section you're supposed to be monitoring is on fire!
Clowns are funny.
Hey y'all, just want to spend one quick moment. One of the things I do in my videos is I promote other YouTube channels because, again, I wouldn't be able to be doing this. I wouldn't be inspired and motivated to be doing this if it wasn't for the other creators on YouTube. The channel that I want to promote is Dan Koe, DANKOE. He does a great job of talking about how to make YouTube a business if you're interested. I haven't decided where I want to take YouTube, whether I want it to be a hobby or a business, but regardless, what he does a really good job of is telling you that running a YouTube channel gives you very essential skills that we take for granted, like the ability to market yourself, the ability to brand yourself, or the ability to record video and use audio video equipment, or the ability to edit and use editing software, or the ability to speak publicly and get your thoughts across without sounding like an idiot. All those things are really important. He reminded me that those things are essential and they are skill building. So for anyone who thinks that running a YouTube channel is easy and it's not really a job, actually you're building skills that are essential in a number of ways and applicable to other parts of life. And so that's why his channel is so good. I'm going to put a link to his channel below, but I thank him for inspiring me to do these videos, along with many others that have inspired me. But let's focus on Dan Koe. Go check out his YouTube channel and enjoy. Okay, so let's get into some of the remedies for getting away from a distracted life and limiting distraction in your life. First thing is to appreciate and be grateful for the things that you have. Be grateful for your health and your wellness and your ability to enjoy this incredible planet. Make time to say it in your head. You can write in a journal if you want. If you don't want to keep a journal in your head is fine, but you can say it when you go to bed, when you wake up, throughout the day. I like to do it when I go to bed. But make time, a few minutes every day, to just be grateful and appreciate the things that you have. Just be mindful. The second thing that you can do is to be still and be alone with no screens. So put your phone away, put it in another room, let it charge, do what you got to do. Get to a place where it's just you and you're being still and you're with yourself and you're alone and you're just being. And just be still. Think about who you are, why you are, what you are, how you are, and just take time to think about what is your purpose, what are your values, what are your goals, because we really just don't spend time doing that. We prefer distraction, we prefer doing other things. I got to do errands, I got to do these tasks, I got to multitask, I got to buy this object, I got to return this object. No, spend time with yourself, be still and be alone, no screens. The third area that you can use to limit distractions is to just focus and set clear intentions for a given day or a given week and make them feasible. So, for a given day, write 2 or 3 things down that you really want to get done that ideally align with your values and your goals. So, write them down for the day. Try not to add a bunch of stuff on top of it, but just make your intentions clear every day. and try not to divert from those things. The fourth area of how to reduce distraction in your life, and maybe stress as well, is to, when you do have tasks and errands, that you batch them. Batch your tasks and errands together so that I've known people that have, I'll just watch them throughout the day and they'll be like, well, I'm going to go to the store and get eggs. And they come back. Then they say, I'm going to go to the gas station and get gas. I need to get gas for tomorrow because I have a long trip. And then they come back. And then they go to the store again to get something else for a gift that they need to get somebody. A lot of people do this without thinking. They do it without batching things together. So again, the more you're on the road, the more likely you are to get into some kind of accident. Why not batch your errands that you have to do throughout the day such that you limit stress, you stay focused, you stay happy, and you're focused on the goals and things that you need to do. So just clump your tasks together so that it makes sense, it's more logical, it's more efficient, and it lowers the stress and distraction in your life. Another thing that you can do, the fifth area that I recommend, is to say no. The power of no is huge when it comes to distractions. If someone else is suggesting that you do something, or if you're thinking whether or not to do something, just do the check and balance of, does it pass the deathbed test, or does it pass the my values and goals test? Most of the time, the thing is probably not going to pass the test. So you can say no. No, saying no frees up your time so that you can have more time with yourself. And if you have more time with yourself, you can go from happiness being at a distance or being in the future to being with you now, which is great. And then also, it gives you more time for deliberate fun, which I'll talk about here in a minute. The sixth area where you need to think about reducing distraction is, when you do have a task, is to monotask. So get that word in your head, monotask. Not multitask, you want to do the opposite, monotasks. Spend about 20 or 30 minutes on a task at a time, focusing on that task. Get it done. And then when you do get it done or get a chunk of it done, take a break and then use that time to be still and be with yourself and reflect on what you've done. This is the way to be the most productive. A lot of times, individuals, we multitask, we fill our schedule with random things. We think productivity is being in meetings or spending time at work or sending emails. We add all these things up that just distract us. They're not actually adding value. So when you're doing a task, monotask, get that deep work done, and you're going to feel way better at the end of that. Also, on deep work, I'll put a link below into one of my favorite books about deep work and the importance of deep work in making your life more efficient and more valuable, and just your job as well, whatever your occupation is. Okay, the seventh thing that you can do to help lower distraction is to declutter your physical space. Have you ever been in somebody's car and there's just stuff piled everywhere? You've been in somebody's house and there's stuff everywhere and it's a very cluttered space. This is often a model of what's going on in their head. A messy space is a messy mind. And so whatever you can do to clear up your physical space will help clear up your mind and help you be less distracted. Because also, with just more things around, you're more distracted with actual things. Imagine walking into a clean space, there's less things, so you're going to be naturally less distracted. But also, if you take time to declutter and clean and organize, this is a very mentally healthy thing to do, and it gets you spending time with yourself, gets you thinking about what's important. This will help you live in your space with less distraction, and there's less burden all around you, and you can feel the goodness of that release of that burden of having all these things around that are unnecessarily taking up your space. The eighth thing that you can do to lower distraction in your life is to distract yourself deliberately. So plan your fun. So for example, I told myself I'm going to get this video done today, I'm going to get the recording done today, and I'm going to plan something fun tonight. So that fun could be watching my favorite Apple TV show tonight, or it could be playing video games with my buddies, or it could be going out to meet others and chatting, or it could be me going to my favorite brewery, trying a new beer. But I'm going to plan some fun after I do this monotask of getting this video recording done. When you do that, and you do these other steps, it's very rewarding to be able to plan your distraction, plan it deliberately. distract yourself deliberately. And then the last thing I would say is spend quality time with others. One of the best ways to mature and evolve and test and reflect on your life's goals, values, and purpose is to converse with others about it and test your assumptions and evolve and grow that way. Humans are social beings, and so take advantage of that. And we learn a lot from each other. So spend time, quality time with others, ideally with not being on screens, staring at a screen, but be social with others, and that's a great way to be less distracted. Well, I hope this video was interesting to you. If it was, please give it a like. I'm going to be talking about various things in this channel, including things like physics, the brain, consciousness, thinking in systems, reflecting about life, thinking about being a human, things like what does it mean to be grown up. I talked about systems thinking, so I want to talk more about the importance of thinking in systems to help you throughout your life. At the end of the day, I just hope that these videos are insightful and interesting, maybe a little entertaining and funny in time, and then also maybe a little bit nostalgic. So thanks for joining me today. Hope you enjoyed it. But until next time, keep thinking and being.